Ramagade, legede. Oh, Ramosandala, brozagade. Lika brazandala. Jesus. Papa God, intervene for we. Do for we. As you do for the Israelites. The way who they suffer. In the life say you don't forget we. Papa God, intervene for we. Orphans are crying, widows are crying, fatherless children are crying, the less privileged are crying. Oh, may we pray. Oh, may we pray. Oh, northwest and southwest, when I come together, may we pray. Oh, prayer is a key. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, may we pray. 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 Prayer is a key. Hey, Jesus. Killing every day. We are killing ourselves. Every day na bum 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 bum. Every time na to 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 to. Oh, we don't tire. Father, fight for us. According to your word in Exodus 14:14, it says you will arise and fight for us, and we will all be so. Papa, give us victory. If you go for Munyenge, everybody then are for bush. Munyenge know the exist, oh, I can know. You go for Papa. Oh, houses they don't burn them down. We'll be render homeless. Hey, yeah. You go for a corner. They did program from house to house. Anybody that meet up a more, ya name not die. Now wait till we do. Now wait till Bambenda them do. Now wait till we do. Now wait till Southwesterners do. Everybody don't run yo. Because of wuru wuru, everybody don't run yo. Because of popo patata. So many don't go on next time. Hey yeah. So one day for refugee camp, for every nation for this world. When you go there, you go see them. So one day for street. So one day they sleep for motor for Nigeria. You go see them there. Papa God, oh when Gazume, yes so we're a wow. Oh make we pray, oh make we pray, oh make we pray, oh make we pray, oh make we pray. Prayer is a key. Hey Jesus. I'm a wapa menda ho, better for one sote. I am yasa west, better for one baba. I'm a way pona, chiwa mo chubangrege. I'm a yana wamungenge, bufaton and never jimashi. I even in work papa, and never jim bufatono. Masuna patito, and nijima make boy. Oh, yes, so we're a wow. Yes, so we're a wow. Kaya we're a wow, baba. We're a wow. Yes, so we're a wow. My village, my gym got southwest and northwest. Bufatona she, Bufaya dame. Yes, so we're a wow. Better bunga again. My year of one by Gunga again. And when I Gunga again, and when I survive. Yes, so Christo. Papaya, we're a wow. We're a wow. Papa, we're a wow. All villages in Northwest and Southwest are damaged.
They are damaged.
Where we go run to? Papa help us, deliver us, Papa. Oh, give us victory. Victory is all we ask. Papa, give us victory. Oh, money for you some more. In a day, even chop for chop. In a day, better water for wash. In no even day at all. Even the one for drink. In a day, now woman they depart for inside bush. Now picking they too, where they know they even go school. But when they say children are the leaders of tomorrow, and we go be leaders, we will not get book for head. Oh, make we pray, for prayer is a key. Oh, make we pray. Oh, make we pray.
Make we pray.
Pastors, make we pray.
Make we pray.
Apostles, make we pray.
Make we pray.
Bishops, make we pray.
Make we pray. Make we pray.
Evangelists, make we pray.
Make we pray.
Workers in the vineyard.
Make we pray. Make we pray.
From Northwest and Southwest.
Make we pray. Make we pray.
Make we pray, oh, even for those who they there for prison, oh.
Make we pray.
Our youth them, oh, that they can't finish. Our boys them, oh, they don't finish. From Manfred to Boya, from Bamenda to Southwest. No shade every day, oh, killing every day. People they die every day. Like say they been a chicken. My people live. Prayer is the key. Oh, may we pray, oh.
Make we pray.
Oh, may we pray.
Make we pray.
Oh, may we pray.
Make we pray.
Ramagade, legede. Oh, Ramosagala, Rosagade.
Make we pray.
Mika Brazandala. Jesus.
Make we pray. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's edition of Amber Voice. Fellow Ambazonians, fans and friends of Mr. Nanchop, beloved citizen of the great nation of Ambazonia, I am welcoming you today to this special edition of Amber Voice with Mr. Nanchop. Now, first of all, I know that we are all bereaved. We've been mourning the death of our beloved children, the students that were killed in Kumba, precisely in Fiango. I personally have been very worried, and I think many of you can relate to that because it's actually been a very sad moment, a sad time for us Ambazonians. My condolences to the families, to the affected parents, and of course siblings of the victims. I really want to say we are with you together. We stand with you as one people in this great time of trial. I really want to say that we will do everything possible in our human powers. I personally, Mr. Nanchop, I will do everything possible within my range to make sure that the perpetrators of this gruesome act are called onto justice. Now, fellow Amazonians, ladies and gentlemen, I want to present to you today the truth about the Kumba massacre. I think I'm going to have a part 1 and a part 2 of this presentation. But today, I really want to focus on some key things that are very important to us. You know, when things like this happen, we must ask the right questions. We must, I know these are emotional things, but sometimes when we face a situation like this one, a challenging moment like this, we should be able to separate the emotions from rationality, from rational thinking. And I think that's very necessary for us to get the most effective and truthful results. Because I've been very silent on social media in the last hours or days, and I noticed that there's been a lot of noise on social media. People have been spending a lot of time and energy on the wrong things, And on this particular episode of Amber Voice, I'm going to draw some things to our attention, to our consciousness. I want us to see these things differently. Let's ask the right questions. Now, one thing that is very clear, based on the evidence that I now have from the happenings of the things that have been taking place at Ground Zero, precisely in Meme County, to be more precise, I would say Kumba LGA, I can assure you, and I can agree with many other activists, that this act was perpetrated by La République du Cameroun. This is an act of terror against the people of Amazonia. I will say this anywhere, anytime, based on the evidences I have right now present. On the course of this particular episode of Amber Voice, I will and I shall be bringing unto you some of these evidences, but also I will be touching a very crucial topic that we all need to be enlightened about, because I've seen a lot of people acted emotionally on social media based on these things or in this particular lane. And I would like to correct these notions. I would like to bring up the right questions according to my own judgment. Now, my opinions are not your final conclusions, but the opinions I will be bringing out there, the questions I'll be posting out there, I want you to think about them, think over them, ponder over them. You know, it's high time we go beyond just emotional feelings and acting out of emotions. Let's use our brains, brothers and sisters, so we can get to the depth of this matter, because the perpetrators are out there. They are happy, they are jubilating, because they had an aim, they had a motive. They were aiming at doing something and they've achieved it partially. But we must stop them, and we must stop them now. Fellow Amazonians, fans and friends of Mr. Nanchop, welcome to today's edition of Amber Voice. As you can read on the screen, the truth about the Kumba massacre. I repeat, the truth about the Kumba massacre. As it is my habit of doing, I always want to make sure that in exposing the things of the enemy, I am focused on the evidences, on the facts, on the things that matters. First of all, I said a few moments ago that La République du Cameroun is responsible, and I repeat, is responsible for this massacre. The soldiers, the barbaric terrorist soldiers of La République du Cameroun are responsible for this massacre. Now, we need to understand the scenario. We need to understand what is happening here. This school, Mother Francisca, is located at the heart of Fiango. Around the location of this school, you have military camps, you have police stations. I mean, this is in the city center. And before now, we know that La République du Cameroun had campaigned for school resumption. Now, we've heard a lot of things they've been publishing. They said, oh, this school was operating without their knowledge. Oh, the bossa didn't pay some money to them. I mean, these guys are so terrible. They've brought up different stories to try to justify why these children were killed. Now, think of it. We are mourning our children. We are in grief. And these guys are out there trying to look for means to justify why these children were killed. Now they are trying to put the blames on the school that, oh, now this is a school that is fenced. This school has a security guard. Brothers and sisters, let's ask the right questions. Normally, we know that in our territory, schools only go from Mondays through Fridays. We know boarding schools, of course, do operate on Saturdays and perhaps on Sundays. We know that this school is highly guarded. I mean, they have their own personal bodyguards. Now, the question I'm asking is, at the time of this incident, where was their bodyguard? Where was the gate man, as we call in our local description? Where was their gate man? Where were the teachers? Why is it that only a certain class or degree of students or some students were affected and shot? Where was their teacher at the particular time of the incident? What actually took place in that campus? How did the separatist fighters come in without overpowering the securities? Because at least they would have helped the securities. But until now, nothing has been said about the securities. As of this present moment, nothing has been said about the teachers. So the children were in the class. Were they in the class without a teacher? Where were their teachers? Who was teaching them? Who allowed these children to come to the class on a Saturday? We all know that Saturdays are not normal or regular school hours or school days. So what actually happened? Why was it that this particular thing took place on a Saturday morning? So are they trying to tell us? Now, these are the questions I'm asking the school proprietors. Are they trying to tell us that a certain group of students just got up one morning on a Saturday morning and said they are going to school and sat in a class, and all of a sudden some armed men just came and shot them? No. 1,000 times no. Something has transpired here that is very fishy, and we must get to the root of these matters. They must tell us, where were the teachers? Where were the security guards? Now, from the description we've gotten, they said they saw armed men came with okadas, that's bikes. They came there and walked into the building. So where were the security guards when they walked into the school? They went through the gates and went into the school. Where were the teachers when these guys came into the classes and were shooting the children? Somebody must have planned this. This is not a coincidence. Somebody must have planned this particular action. Somebody must have decided to sacrifice the life of these children for some reasons. The question is, why? What are these reasons? Another thing I want us to focus on is that in particular is a big quarter, is the central station where most of families of the restoration forces are living. Now, let's say this, or let's see it this way. There are French schools in Kumba. There are French schools in this area. They all had armies and soldiers. Why was this particular school not protected? The Cameroon government had proposed, as a matter of fact, they had told the people that they are going to provide security for their children. So why did they provide securities for the French schools and didn't provide securities for this particular school? We all know that most of the students that attend this school are relatives to the Amazonian Restoration Forces. I repeat, most of the students that attend this school are relatives to the Amazonian Restoration Forces. As a matter of fact, Fiango is where you have most of their families living. Now, if this act was perpetrated by the Amazonian Restoration Forces, as some are claiming that it had been, why would they decide to attack their own relatives? I mean, we have French schools around the area, poorly guarded. We also know that the Amazonian restoration fighters are not afraid of the military because they themselves are well armed. So if they were to commit such an act, they would go and attack a French school where the students are not relatives to them. So why would they choose to go and attack their own brothers and sisters? Why? It makes no sense to me. We also know that the Amazonian restoration fighters, they don't waste their bullets. Rarely will you see them shooting around rampantly. We also know that La République du Cameroon is in the habit of killing children. Let me give you 3 instances. You remember what happened to baby Martha in Moyoka? They went to Moyoka in search of Amber boys, as they say, or as they call, and they were frustrated that they couldn't find the Amber boy. Local population would not cooperate with them. So they had to penalize the local population. They started shooting randomly. They were breaking into houses. Then they got into a house where they found a 3-month-old baby sleeping. Baby Martha. I will never forget this. This child was shot in the head. And the armies did it. We saw the videos. We saw when the armies said that they were angry about it. The colleague of the perpetrator, of the army, of the soldier that shot that particular child even came and confessed and said he was angry when his colleague did that. We know that La République du Cameroun is in the habit of killing children. What about Ngabu? When they went into the village and they were angry at the people and they decided to gather their children and shot them. They shot the children, killed them, and decided to burn their bodies so as to cover up the evidences. Brothers and sisters, La République du Cameroun went to Batibo. Now, Batibo in the northern zone of Amazonia, we know that the great people of Batibo are good at producing palm oil. They went to a vicinity where the families were producing palm oil in search of Amber boys, as they call. When they didn't see or get the Amber boys, or the population, the local population wouldn't cooperate with them, what did they do? They started shooting rampantly. This scared the people. Most of them ran into the bushes. They were breaking into houses, as it is in their normal habits of doing. So they break into the houses. They saw a small baby sleeping. They took that baby and threw into the boiling oil. Now, these people, remember, they were cooking their oil. This is their business. They produce palm oil. They had to take a baby and throw in the oil to punish the parents for running away and for not answering their questions. What magnitude of barbarism? What magnitude of wickedness? This shows you how wicked these people are. They will do everything and anything to hurt the people of Amazonia. Now let's come back to Kumba. First of all, we had warned that due to the insecurity, no child should go to school. La République du Cameroun, being conscious of their private agenda, they had gone ahead of us to do what is called a school campaign and to deceive the people that they would guarantee their security. Where was their security forces? Where were they when these students were killed? As a matter of fact, this is a planned coup. La République had planned this issue, and I'm tempted to say they did it with the collaboration of the school authorities. They did it with the collaboration of the school authorities, with the sole aim of blackmailing the Amazonian restoration forces. Don't forget, until now, they've been singing the song to the international community that our fighters are terrorists, that we Amazonians, we are terrorists. Now, how do you define terrorism? You go about killing students in classes, shooting students, killing children, burning all mothers in their houses, burning the villages, shooting at people, using helicopter gunships on citizens, and then you turn to call them terrorists. La République du Cameroun is barbaric. The international community, human rights organizations, they've all condemned this particular act. They've termed this as genocide in the 21st century. So there is no doubt that La République du Cameroun, under the leadership of Dictator Biya, is perpetrating genocide in Ambazonia. Now, let's come back to Kumba. For those who are going out there to say the Amazonian restoration fighters did it, if they were to do this, they would rather, I believe, go and attack a French school. They will not go and attack a school where the students are their own brothers and sisters. They will not do that. They won't. You know, dictators like Bia, Saddam Hussein, this is what they do. Think about it. Saddam Hussein did the same thing to his people. He killed children like this in this brutal manner. It's the same thing dictator Bia is doing. And he's trying to paint an image of these people as though they are rebels, they are criminals, they are terrorists. Now, I've never seen a terrorist group that executes violence against their own people. As you say. So, your judgments are not sound. Let's look at the bullets. Let's look at the things that happened. Now, let me show you. Let me put the screen. Let me start with this evidence. I'm going to put this on the screen. Now, take a look at this. If you can see that, you will see this is one of the first images that the Nanchop team has gotten. Now, we know that the soldiers that perpetrated these acts, they climbed on the benches of the school or of the classroom, and they shot the students. What you are seeing on the screen, these are prints of their boots. Now, this print of this boot resembles that of a soldier. If you look at the print of that boot that I just put on the screen, let me do it again. This, to me, looks pretty much like that of a soldier, the boot of a soldier. And fellow Amazonians, I actually think that these guys did this thing. Their hands are in this. They did this because they wanted to blackmail the people of Amazonia. And I'm making this very clear to the public that the hand of La République is clearly written on this thing. We can see their handprint. Now, fellow Amazonians, ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends of Mr. Nanchop, I also want us to understand something here. What happened here is a tactically planned act by La République du Cameroon. Now, I agree with many activists. Most of you know that I don't agree with Eric Tato because he's evil, he's diabolic. But if there's anything I'll agree with him on this particular instance, is that La République du Cameroon perpetrated this act. Yes, this was done by La République du Cameroon. But again, I want to bring out a point that I think we, the people of Amazonia, we must critically look onto. First of all, what is important to us? What is important to me, Mr. Nanchop, is that the right perpetrators of this act are being punished. Listen, I know in times like this, hard moments like this need hard, tough people, tough strategies to be implemented. And I don't want us to be that emotional, so much that we fail to apply rationality. What happened in Kumba was perpetrated by La République du Cameroon. I am seizing this opportunity to plead that the international community will send in an independent fact-finding mission into this territory. This particular case should be investigated by the international community. They cannot allow Dictator Bia to do any investigation. As a matter of fact, they are tampering with the evidences, with the facts. Listen, I would demand for the autopsies of the bodies. The bullets that were used. I mean, we have you in the classroom. There are evidence that there are just a lot of evidence in that vicinity, in that classroom that we can use to prove who did this act, who committed this act of terror. I mean, we can go as far as carry out autopsies on the bodies of those shot of the victims to get the facts about what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleading that the international community would at least send a fact-finding mission team to investigate this particular incident. La République is fond of doing this, and then they will go around to pick a few boys and force them to come and confess that they did this. Whereas, right now there is so much terror that they just go around, they have their guns, they will just go around and pick boys and terrorize them and tell them, hey, listen, we will kill you. If you don't want us to kill you, you have to accept that you did this, and then we'll put you in prison maybe for a year and leave you. They will terrorize these guys and tell them to go and accept this treacherous act. And in fear, these guys will just go and say, oh, they're the ones who did it. And they will say they're Amber Boys. But the reality is that, the truth is that, these guys are not the ones who do these things. We've seen La République playing this game again and again and again. This cannot continue. La République can't just go out there to perpetrate this kind of a havoc and then come and turn around and say, oh, the Amazonian people did it. The Amazonian Restoration Forces did it. The Amazonians are terrorists. Why would they be killing their own? Listen, I said it. There are French schools around this area. If our restoration forces were to target those students, they would target the Francophones. They would target the Francophone schools. But the perpetrators of this act chose this school at a particular moment and on a day where they had decided to execute and destroy the lives of innocent children. What wickedness. One thing I want to clear today is the fact that we've had a WhatsApp message or let me say messages that are going out there, and they've been spread out by so many people who believe that it is a certain DO or SDO, Mr. Chamberlain, who was writing it. Now, listen, Amazonians. Listen, fellow Amazonians. When something like this happens, I know we are all very emotional. But I repeat, we must try to contain our emotions and be rational with our thoughts. I'm going to disprove that particular write-up. I'm not trying to say that Mr. Chamberlain is not an accomplice in this act. As a matter of fact, if you remember, I was the first activist that came out to make a show on this, and I said it clear from the words of Mr. Chamberlain that he had implicated himself. He is one of our prime suspects. Because one, he's working for the La République government, for this barbaric government. And the things he said. Now, let's be real here. Let's be real. This is someone who is supposed to be a DO or an SDO. He goes out there and calls for civil war. He actually instigated civil war. He said, oh, the people should take weapons against Amazonians. Who was he talking to? That the people should take up weapons. They should go to the streets and fight against the Amazonians. Now, how was he sure that this was done by the Amazonian Restoration Forces? There's been no investigation. I mean, he barely arrived at the scene and started saying that, oh, the people should take up weapons against the Amazonian fighters and the Amazonian people. Think about it. No investigation was done. He came to the scene and immediately drew his conclusion. This was done by the Amazonian people. Listen, nobody in his or her right senses does that. You see, and as an SDO, a government worker, he would have called for the police or his police, I would say, to come in, or what? He would have followed the legal procedure through an investigation, and then there will be a kind of a conclusion from the investigation to know who did it. But because we know that La République is a lawless country, they have no procedure. Their sole aim with this individual act that they perpetrated in Kumba was to blackmail the people of the British Southern Cameroons, the restoration fighters, and the interim government. And we saw that in the very first minute when they arrived at the scene. The very first thing they did was they wanted to blackmail the people, and exactly that's what they did. They went out there, started saying, oh, this was the Amazonian people, without any facts or proofs. But what we are seeing right now, the images we are getting, the testimonies we are getting from some of the victims, refers to the fact that this was done by the La République soldiers. You remember one of the evidence I gave, they said the people who shot them spoke French, and the broken pidgin they spoke was with French accent. Literally, these were La République soldiers who are dressed in civilian attires so as to cover up the act. Now, let me focus on this image that is out there that has been trying to deceive the international community and also to create chaos. Fellow Amazonians, Mr. Chamberlain is, to my opinion, very guilty. He is very guilty of what happened in Kumba. But if we are going to prove his guiltiness, we shall, and we must do it with evidence and facts. We're not going to do it with fabricated lies. The reason being that I don't want us to discredit ourselves and make ourselves fools in the face of the international community. Listen, we are Amazonians. We are just people. We are people fighting for a just cause. We are not going to fight injustice with injustice. We are going to make sure we fight injustice with justice and truth. And this demands that whatsoever is unjust and untruth, even if someone wants to use it for our advantage, we will say no to it because we want justice and truth to prevail. Listen, the logo for my platform states that justice and truth must prevail. I repeat, justice and truth must prevail. I, Mr. Nanchop, I came into this revolution and into this liberation fight to fight for justice and to stand for the truth. I will do everything possible to stand for the truth. And I'm not going to support anything evil just because it might be for my favor. I will not do that. I will stand for justice and I will stand for the truth. Now, the chart you saw that has been portrayed out there that is apparently from Mr. Dio or SDO, Mr. Chamberlain, is wrong, is erroneous, is fake. And I'm going to prove that to you in the next 5 minutes. I want everyone to know that what we want the perpetrators of this act to be called to justice. We want the committers of this crime to be held accountable. We don't just want anyone to be held accountable. Amazonians, what do you want? Let's be reasonable here. Do we just want anybody to be held for this act? Because some of us are perhaps so emotional that, oh, this thing is pointing, this is an evidence that is pointing all the fingers at La Republique. The truth is, and the fact remains that La Republique committed this act. They did it. There is no debate about that. We are not arguing that. They did it. But who did it? Who are the accomplices of La Republique that perpetrated this act? So what we want, I guess, in this nation is that La Republique will face justice for this. And whosoever was involved in this act must face justice. So we are not going to just be happy about the point that someone is being punished. No, we want the right person to be punished. I will be happy to say, oh, yeah, Mr. Chamberlain did it, and to support this erroneous message that is being spread out there, that he was the one who did it. But I'll be deceiving myself, knowing fully well that this message is a lie. This is a manipulated attempt to discredit Mr. Chamberlain. That does not mean that he's not an accomplice. He did it. He's part of the team. But La Republique is also still playing a political agenda. See, this is the wickedness of La Republique. They will use you, then turn up to frame you up. When they see that the whole thing has backfired. What is happening? This is politics in La Republique. We are not going to tolerate politics over the lives of our children. And we are not going to be supporters of wrong things just because we want anyone to be penalized. No. We want the right people to be penalized. We know and we all agree, including all the French and Francophone activists, that this was done by La République du Cameroun. I, Mr. Nanchop, I joined that team to say that yes, it was done by La République du Cameroun. I can defend it and I can prove it. Anytime, anywhere. Secondly, I disagree with anyone there who is saying that, or anyone out there who is saying that the charts that we are seeing, the WhatsApp charts, are from Mr. Chamberlain. And I'm going to give you 5 or 6 points why I disagree. I'm going to evidentially prove to you that this WhatsApp message is another trap by La République. Now, 2 things here. Whosoever is propagating this has a political agenda and is an accomplice to the act. I repeat, whosoever is trying to use this chat of Mr. Chamberlain to say that, oh, he's the one, this is what they planned, this is what he discussed, The person is involved in that act and the person is playing a political game. Listen, fellow Amazonians, La République cannot be playing politics over the lives of our children in our territory that does not belong to them. This is what we must not tolerate. We must not give it any support, and we must stand for justice and truth. Many of you went after me when I said that, or when I tweeted that I have scrutinized those messages and I can confirm that they were not done by Mr. Chamberlain. Mr. Chamberlain never wrote those messages. People went after me. Oh, Mr. Nanchop, listen to me. I'm not moved by that. I never came into this revolution to get support from people. I came because I want to fight injustice with justice and I want to stand for the truth. And I will do that anytime, any day, anywhere. Because we are fighting injustice. So we must stand on the side of justice and we must stand on the side of truth. Now, I just said I am going to prove to you that this particular act was not, or this particular text, WhatsApp messages, was not done by Mr. Chamberlain. Now, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Amazonians, permit me take you to the Mr. Nanchop laboratory. I'm going to start by putting some things on the screen. Now, first of all, I want us to clear up that notion in this revolution. We've seen that timelessly, and I'm not going to give this power. We've seen individuals, they are making it a habit to always come up with text messages, framed up text messages to discredit some people. You remember a few weeks ago, they did it with me. They framed up a text message and they came up as though I was the one who did it. And they succeeded to deceive a lot of people until I came up to disprove them. And this time around, I can confirm to you that the same people who did that frame up against me, they are the ones who did this. And I'm going to show you the mistake they did again and again because they are so stupid. You remember last time I caught them because they tried to manipulate my profile picture and they failed. And that was one of the evidence we used to disprove them. This time around, they said, oh, Mr. Nanchop caught us last time with the evidence from the profile picture. We are going to do it this time around without a profile picture. Now, let's start. I want us to be very factual. And I repeat, we want the perpetrators of this act to be punished. We don't just want anybody to be punished. See, I have no alliance with Mr. Chamberlain. As a matter of fact, he's an enemy to Amazonian. He's our enemy. He must face the wrath of the people of Amazonia for being an accomplice with La République to do this kind of atrocious act in the territory of Amazonia. This is the handiwork of La République du Cameroon without any questioning. But now we want the right people to be held accountable. And everyone that was involved, I repeat, in this treacherous, heinous act. Let's go to, let me prove to you that this thing was done by, first of all, I want to prove to you that the telephone number, let me put it on the screen. The telephone number you've seen on the chart was, or is the telephone number of Mr. Chamberlain. It's true. Let me put it, that's the number on the screen. This is it. The telephone number, please take note of that telephone number. It's truly the number of Mr. Chamberlain, and I can prove that to you. This is another evidence. This is another evidence that that telephone number belongs to Mr. Chamberlain. As you can see on your screen. Now, you see that his name was there. Another evidence I had, or we had, was the fact that, you know, in Cameroon, when you try to send somebody Momo, what they call mobile money, what you will get is the person's name will pop up. I repeat, the person's name will pop up for confirmation before you give in your confirmation, for you to at least be sure to whom you are sending it. We had that also as an evidence, and of course, it was confirmed with the same name of Mr. Chamberlain. So what I can assure you is that that telephone number belongs to Mr. Chamberlain. Point number 2. Was this message that we are seeing, this widely spread WhatsApp message, was it actually a message from Mr. Chamberlain? I will say no. It was a frame up. And before I come to who did it and why they did it, let me prove to you why I said it was a frame up. Now, I want to give you these simple principles. The number I have put on the screen, all of you who have WhatsApp, you are free to store the number on your phone. You can store the number on your phone, then write a WhatsApp, just write a message like hi to the person, right? And then delete the number. When you do that, you'll be able to have this. Now, I want you to take a look at what is on the screen. On the left is the message that is being spread to us. Now, I'm going to put these two messages, two screenshots. On the left, you're going to have the message that is being spread out there, that is supposedly to be from Mr. Chamberlain and one of his cohorts, one of his gang guys that were planning the killing of these children. And on the right is a screenshot I made from the same WhatsApp number. Now, if you see, you will see both WhatsApp numbers on the screen. The numbers are equal. What do you see? Now, for anybody who has used WhatsApp or who is using WhatsApp, take a look at what is on the screen. Take a look at these screenshots. You know that if you are looking at somebody's WhatsApp number and profile, like what you're having on the right, where it is written real, you will see the standard functions. You will see the WhatsApp profile picture, which you can see there. You will see, at least if the person does not have a WhatsApp profile picture, you will see that round box. You see the round picture box. Then you see the telephone number. And then you will see the video call button. You will see the audio call button. And additionally, you will see the three dots that you are having on the right. Look at the right. You see the three dots on the right. And then you have the back button. Now look at the person who manipulated this chart. Look at his own screenshot to show you that they had manipulated a chart. Then they cropped the telephone number of this guy to put on it. Look at it. Look at what you're having on the left. What you're having on the left, you are not seeing the profile picture box, the round box you are seeing on the left, on the right. You are not seeing it because the person this was poorly done. They did the messaging, then they cropped the telephone number and put on it. You will see the video call button, you will see the audio call button, but again, you will fail to see the three dots. Now, somebody might say to me, no, Mr. Nanchop, this was just a screenshot. Listen to me. I did the same screenshot from Mr. Chamberlain's number, and that's what you have on the right. Any of you can do this. Store that number on WhatsApp. Write a message like, hi, then do a screenshot. When you do a screenshot, you'll be able to have this. These are standard functions of WhatsApp. They are always there with every number and every profile. Standard functions, they are always there. You always, people, the personal settings, WhatsApp has the settings that says you can blend out your profile picture just for certain individuals to see, or only for your contacts, or for no one to see. But that does not cancel the fact that you are going to have the picture box, the round picture box you can see. The round picture box will always be there. On any true screenshot, you will always have the round picture box. Now take note of the numbers. Look at the numbers on the left and the numbers on the right. On international numbers, you will notice that there is always a gap after the +237. There will be a gap before the beginning number, the next 7. But if you look at the number on the left, there is no gap. Secondly, there is no profile, there is no picture and profile picture box. Meaning, they did what? They cropped the number of Mr. Chamberlain and then used it to cover up even the person who did this thing is so stupid. They did it so poorly that they tried to manipulate everything, but they did it so wrongly. Everything is fake. Everything is fake. Now, if that evidence is not good for you enough, let me take you to the second evidence. Let me give you the second evidence. By the way, I also want us to know that anyone can do this thing. Anyone can manipulate your screenshot. And I'm going to give you an example on this show. I'm going to do a live, the same thing on this show for you to see. Hold on. Let me go to the second evidence. Evidence number 2. They want us to believe that Mr. Chamberlain had this conversation. He had this conversation. Now, look at the screenshot they gave us as evidence. If you look at this screenshot on the screen, you will see that it was Mr. Chamberlain that was writing, right? Let me put the bigger one. This screenshot apparently says that it is Mr. Chamberlain that was writing. So whosoever is writing on WhatsApp, you will notice, for those of you who use WhatsApp, if you write, your right is always on green, on the green background. So I will show you now, I'll take you now and show you a practical example. If you write, I repeat, your write up is always on the green background. Now just hold on while I pull up something here and I show you. I show you, let me take you to, and show you, so we do that together. Now I want to make sure I use this to clear up the air for people to understand what is happening. You will know that whenever you write on WhatsApp, your own write-up is always on the green. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put to you on the screen. This is my handy. You can see my telephone, right? Now, I'm writing to my private number. Let me put myself also somewhere on the screen, so at least some of you can be seeing me and see what I'm doing. Now, I want you to see what is happening. This is my WhatsApp, and I'm going to write. Let me write a message. Hi, Mr. Nanchop. Okay. Now, what did you notice? After texting, you notice my text is in green. And let me continue. Let me just write some stuff. I'm just going to write some stuff, keep writing some stuff. You notice every message I write is in green. Every message I write is in green. Right? Did you see that? My messages are in green. So whosoever is giving us this write-ups, he wants us to believe that this text is from, the green text is from Mr. Chamberlain. But let's read the message. So this means that this is the green text is from Mr. Chamberlain. Now, if you read this, you will notice that now also point number 2, the screenshot must have been done by Mr. Chamberlain, because the green text is from him and the screenshot is also apparently from him, because the message in it is the one where he's the one commanding whosoever who is doing the act, right? So he's the one telling the person, because what you see in French, that is where he was giving the people the orders that they should go and arrest whosoever, they should commit the act. And what you see there is that they want us to believe that the text in green was from him, and it is true that he's the one that wrote that. But now think about it. How is it possible that he will make a screenshot and then we are seeing but his own number? Think about that for a moment. That can never be possible. If you should make a screenshot, we should be seeing the number of the other person he was writing with, not his own number. So you will not tell me Mr. Chamberlain wrote all this text we have in green, and then he made a screenshot of it and we are seeing but his own number. I mean, this is stupidity. Whosoever did this was aiming at framing up Mr. Chamberlain, but he did it so poorly. Mr. Chamberlain never did that. I mean, even if he was that foolish, he wrote all these things to this person. Why would he make a screenshot of it and put out publicly? Let's assume that his phone was hacked. If his phone was hacked, that means the screenshot we are seeing here came from him, because the text in green is the text where he was giving orders for the children to be killed. So when you make such a screenshot, the number you should be seeing is the number of the other person, not your own number. So there is no means and no possibility that the number we should be having here on the screen, pointed in red, will be the number of Mr. Chamberlain. It has to be the number of whosoever he was communicating with. I hope my people can get me now. This has to be the number of whosoever he was communicating with. And it doesn't have to be his number. Again, let me put this on the screen. Check it out. I'll take off myself now from the screen. So look at it. Look at the right. On the right is the screenshot I made from his number. On the left is the cropped, faked screenshot somebody was trying to use to blackmail Mr. Chamberlain. Look at it very well. So if you look at the message in green, as I said, is the message that Mr. Chamberlain is the one writing to give command for the person to go and act. And you see the person says, "Je suis désolé, monsieur le préfet." That means the person is writing to the SDO, says, "I'm sorry, Mr. Prefect." That's the SDO. The person is writing back to him. And that's why you can see the person's own writing. It's in white. It's in white background. WhatsApp differentiates between your own write-up and the person's own write-up. Whatsoever you write, for those of you who use WhatsApp, when you write in WhatsApp, your writings are always in the green background. That which is coming from somebody else is on the white background. Now, if you look at the screenshot, The screenshot that was made is showing Mr. Chamberlain's number. And we are seeing that the text in green is also coming from him. That can never be possible. You can never be screenshotting a message you're having with somebody else and your number is the one showing. What should have been shown here is the number of the person to whom Mr. Chamberlain was sending a message or with whom he was communicating. You see, this is an erroneous manipulation. Whosoever did this is trying to discredit those who want to use this as though it is the fact that it is Mr. Chamberlain who ordered the killing of these children. Now, don't forget, this is not going to be what we will use as the fact. We cannot use lies to go out there and claim that these are the facts. No, we are fighting a just cause, Amazonians. We have an integrity to maintain. We are not going to go out there to use unjust things and lies to try to hold the enemy. It is very factual that La Republique did these things. And we have other facts that are very tangible and undeniable. What La Republique is trying to do here is they are trying to frame up Mr. Chamberlain. They don't want to take the responsibility as in totality. Now they want to frame up Mr. Chamberlain as though he did it. Of course, he was an accomplice. And this is it. To those of you who are joining La Republique to perpetrate evil acts against Amazonians, sooner or later they will expose you, they will use you and dump you. La Republique is nobody to be trusted. The government of La Republique du Cameroon is the most crooked, rough government on earth. These are the worst people you want to work with, you want to support. Mr. Chamberlain, you know something about the killing of these children. It's high time you speak now that you have the ability to speak before you are being killed. Listen, we Amazonians, we are very just. We are straightforward. We are not going to use lies to want to justify our just cause. No. And that's why I, Mr. Nancho, I'm not going to support this because this is a game La Republique is trying to play. This is a game La Republique is trying to play. With all the evidence I've given you, first of all, you look at the manipulation they did with the cropping of the number. If you look at it, the picture box, the profile picture box is not there. An evil, a failed manipulative scheme. Secondly, how can someone be making screenshot of a message he's having with somebody and you are seeing the number? Excuse me, was he communicating with himself? No. The number of the person he was communicating with is the number that had to be up there. Amazonians, don't fall for this cheap propaganda. The great people of Amazonia, you cannot fall for this cheap propaganda. This thing is too cheap. We are more than this. We are far intelligent than this. We cannot fall for this cheap propaganda. We are more than this shit. The game La Republique is trying to play here is to incriminate us. They want to give us all these things, then we'll go out there and use it and say, oh, this is the fact. Then they will come out and point out these things. And then it will be as though we are having something to hide. It will be as though we committed the act. We are trying to hang it on them by using this as a fact. No, we are calling for an internationally led fact-finding mission team to come into this matter, go to the ground and gather the facts. We want to get the bullets from the autopsy of the bodies of these children. There are a lot of things we can use out there as facts because these are the realities to know that La Republique did this. But listen to me. I'm not going to fall for this cheap propaganda. Mr. Nanchop is not going to give this thing any credence. The truth is this. If you allow it now, because they are using it against your enemy, they will use it one day against you. Whosoever is using this thing, he wants you to believe that he has facts. He has the ability to produce such messages. Once you believe in it now because he is using it against your enemy, you've given it your credibility. You've supported it. Tomorrow he will be using the same principles against you. Let me show you something. We know that the first person who brought this out was Eric Tato. And I'm going to put something on the screen to blow up your mind. Fellow Amazonians, my name is Mr. Nancho. Let me put this on the screen. Okay. Now, let me zoom this in. Can you, I want you guys, I wish you all can see this. Now, who recognize that telephone number? Look at the number. Who recognize the profile picture? Now, I want you to take that telephone number on the screen. Look at the text. This is the profile picture. This is the telephone number of Eric Tato. This is apparently a message he communicated with somebody before that incident. He said, hello, bro. He said, are you guys ready? He said, yes. He said, I can fake a chat between the SDO and the commandant and frame him up. Good. He said, I will present it on my live show this evening. You see that? You see that? Now, compare. I want you to compare. Let me take this closer for people to see. I want everyone to get this. Compare this screenshot. If you look at this screenshot, you will see the number of Eric Tato. You will see his profile picture. You will see the video call button, the audio call button. You will see the 3 dots I was talking about. Everything is so crystal clear. Everything is so crystal clear. So, now, having this in your hand, let's go back to the other screenshot that we had, that they were trying to use as evidence against Mr. Chamberlain. Look at this. Look at the screenshot on the right is the one I made. Look at the one on the left is the one that is coming from Eric Tato and his gangs. Now, brothers and sisters, I want to say something. All I want us to understand here is that this chat is fake. Whosoever manipulated this chat is an accomplice with La République, and they are playing a political game. They want to draw our attention away from what happened to Ayeke. They want to draw our attention from the realities. They want to draw our attention from the truth and base them on false allegations. Listen, the international community is not foolish. When they see this, when they have these images and these WhatsApp chats, they can dictate and they know that it is manipulated. If these are going to be the things we will use as our evidence that it is La République who did it, then we are deceiving ourselves. We are trying to make ourselves foolish in front of the international community. But we have more evidence that I have, Mr. Nanchop, and that I'm going to be producing to the world, that it is La République du Cameroon that killed our children. Yes, Mr. Chamberlain was involved. Yes, it was a planned act that they did. They were involved and they did this to blackmail the interim government, to blackmail the Ambazonian people, to blackmail the Ambazonian restoration forces. But because we, the Ambazonian people, are a people of truth and justice, we are by no means going to relate ourselves with this fake propaganda La République is trying to use. They are trying to use this propaganda to, listen, La République is so crooked. They want to create so much confusion. And at the end of the day, they will use all this to discredit us. Our credibility is at stake at this moment. We are the victims. We are bereaved. We are mourning. And yet, they want to use their agents amongst us to manipulate us again and make us look like fools to the international community. Brothers and sisters, we are cheap manipulations. No, I have given you the evidence. Go out there. If you think I'm lying, take that number, store it on your phone, cross-check those things I've said to you. Those images you have, cross-check the images again. You will see the differences are so clear. And again, there is no way that Mr. Chamberlain will ride. And you see that in the green background box. And then he will make a screenshot of his own write-up and his number will be showing. That is not possible. Listen, I want you to write somebody on WhatsApp. Make a screenshot of the write-up. Then, if you will see your own number on the screen, then we can be talking about that as an evidence. But I know what you will see on the screen is the person's own number, not your number. So by all indications, the text we see on the green were the commands Mr. Chamberlain was giving. So this text, this screenshot, apparently is from Mr. Chamberlain. So how come his number is the one being shown on the screen? I just said to you that, yes, Mr. Chamberlain's number is that which we have on the screen. That's his number. I've proven that to you. You know, I've sent my investigation team. They've gone down. They even tried sending money to that number to get the approval. I have all those things here. Yes, it is La République du Cameroon who did it. But one thing is clear, ladies and gentlemen, something is fishy here. La République is playing a game here. They want to discredit us. They want to make a mockery of us. They want to shame us. And we are not going to fall for that. We are not going to fall for that. We will keep pressing, and we also called on the international community to send an independent fact-finding team to go to the ground and investigate these atrocities. Yes, if La Republique know that they have nothing to cover up or to hide, let them be open to an internationally led fact-finding team or investigation. We, the Amazonian people, I, Mr. Nanchop, I endorse an internationally led investigation. So if Mr. Biya knows that he did not do it, his soldiers did not do it, let him allow the international community to come in and investigate the issue. We, the people of Amazonia, we are truthful people. We are fighting a just cause. We will never go down to that dirty and silly level to use falsehood just as to score political points. No, because our cause is just. What we are fighting for is just. We are not going to use any manipulations as facts. The facts are clear, and they are so clear that no one can deny them. La Republique did it. And the manipulation of these screenshots is not our evidence. We have more and better evidence. And whosoever did this is just working, it's an agent of La Republique, working for La Republique, and is trying to gain relevance. Listen, brothers and sisters. They would and will not overpower us. My name is Mr. Nanchop. Before I round up, fellow Amazonians, one thing is very important at this juncture. We must stay on the side of the truth. We must stay on the side of the truth. Listen, I want to put this screenshot again on the screen, and I want every one of you to judge. And I know, and after this, I'm going to make a statement, but I want to put this screenshot on the screen. This is a screenshot that came from Eric Tato. Now, I received this screenshot today. Now, I want you to take a look at this screenshot. Those of you who know Eric Tato, you know that this is his number. Take a look. This is his number. And this is apparently a chat he had before he came up on his live show to publicize the screen chat he said was coming from the SDO. This is it. Now, what do you see here? You see his number, you see everything, every evidence. Now, all of you who have Eric Tato's number, you can compare. Copy the number on the screen. That's his number on the screen. You can take the number and write. That's Eric Tato's number. Now, the question here is, listen, we know that La Republique perpetrated this killing. And we also know that, now we know that the chat that Eric Tato brought on his show was a manipulated chat. Now, I want to say something, and I want to be very fair at this juncture. The chart I just portrayed on the screen, where we see Eric Tato's number, has a high probability to be fake. It has a high probability. Let me put it again on the screen. This chart where you see that it was Eric Tato who planned to manipulate a chat about the SDO message has a high probability to be fake. But now, there is a danger we have here. This shows us that it is easy to manipulate a chat. It is easy for anyone to manipulate a chat, even with your own number. Now, today you are attacking somebody, or you want to make it an evidence based on a fake chat. Brothers and sisters, listen, this crime that La Republique has done against us is so huge. We don't need any fake chats to be our evidence. The evidence are so crystal clear that it is La Republique who did it. Instead, we will be discrediting our evidences and will be spoiling our case by trying to use a false accusative chat. Some of you are saying, oh, Mr. Nanchop, what you try for talk, why you try to bring confusion? Are you that stupid and naive? Seriously? Are you that crooked? Are you really that crooked and naive that you want to believe, you want to take a fake chat as your evidence for the truth? Well, listen, the white man is not dull. The Americans are not dull. The European Union are not dull. The United Nations are not dull. They know the truth. If we are going to make our arguments based on these false arguments or chats, Imagine you take that chat and you send to the international community and say, this is the evidence we had that it was the SDO who planned. You are making us ridiculous in the face of the international community. Because if they take the chat, I mean, they just look at the chat. Let me put it, look at what they brought, what Eric Tato was showing to the world, that it is an evidence that it was Chamberlain or the SDO who did it. I mean, that guy Eric Tato is so stupid. Look at it. I mean, look at what is fake on the left. If you see it, okay, this is the same screenshot I made on the right. Compare the both screenshots. On the one on the left, you will not see the profile picture box, the round box which you are seeing on the right. You see the round box beside the back arrow is missing on the left. You see the three dot at the end, at the right hand end on the real picture. It's missing on the left. So you cannot take these things and go to the international community and you are making arguments. You cannot take a fake chart. This thing was faked up by Eric Tato and his gangs. The question is why? Why did Eric Tato do that? Now, let me tell you something. Amazonians, we are not going to endorse things amongst us just because they are saying the things that we think favors us. We cannot do that. We'll be making ourselves stupid to the international community. Let's be rational. Our integrity as Ambazonians is at stake at this moment. Some of you will say that, oh, many La Republic activists are propagating that. Let them do that. It's their country. They are the ones, let them do that. But we must stay on the side of the truth. We know very well that it is La Republic. Even today, I saw the South African, this guy from Malema from South Africa. The international community know. They have their satellite images. South Africa has satellite images. They know that it is La Republic who did it. They spoke against Mr. Bia. But let me tell you something. Listen, I've told you guys that I hate falsehood. In this revolution, I have decided to stand on the side of the truth. Even if it means what, I will stand on the side of the truth. I will not say that because what Mr. Eric brought, or Eric Tato brought, he's talking against La Republic. So let me just give him my support. It's fake, it's false. It's wrong because the international community is looking at it. They have seen those charts and they know that this is false. They know that it is manipulated. And if you expect the activists like us who are for truth and justice, who support the institution of the interim government, who are for the Ambazonian people, if we too will go out there, will sing the same language, the international community will not take us serious. That means anything we'll be saying again, even in the future, they'll be having question marks. They'll be thinking that we have something to hide. That's why we are manipulating the facts. So I see some Ambazonians here who are commenting. They are trying to write some, say, oh, no, this is not about Eric Tato and Mr. Nancho. Listen, let's put our differences aside. Okay? Let's put you know very well that me and Eric Tato will never sit on one table. You know my stance about him. But let's put Ambazonia first. Let's put Ambazonia first. It is terrible for you to come to the international community when such a treacherous act has been committed. Such a dangerous thing. You look at the way they kill our children. When such a thing has happened, tensions are high. We are mourning. You don't come up with fake evidence. You are trying to discredit us. You are trying to make it be as though we are hiding something. You are trying to make it be as though we are framing up facts and stories to lie, to cover up something. This will make whosoever is the judge to think that it was the restoration forces who did it. No, we are not the ones who did it. So we have nothing to be afraid of. That's why we are calling for the internationally led investigation. Let the international community, let the United Nations send in an investigation team. So for we to go there and then we start taking things like this from Eric Tato. Listen, Eric Tato is a mad guy. It is either you are mad. Now, I want to say this. I want to be very fair. It is true. I will say it. It is true. Me and Eric Tato will never be friends in this life. It is true. But I want to be fair. I am an activist. He claims to be an activist. I understand that there are times where people will come to you. They will give you things. They will send you things. But Eric Tato needs to learn something. Before he comes up to speak in the name of Ambazonia, let him cross-check the facts. If he comes up and he's speaking in the name of Ambazonia, and then he's putting this chart as though it is a proof that it was La Republic who did it, he is discrediting us in the face of the international community. This is dangerous, brothers and sisters. It is dangerous. There are only two things I can think of it. Let me assume that Eric Tato is not stupid. Then he must be an accomplice to cover up this thing with a negative agenda. Because I don't believe that. I mean, let's assume that Eric Tato is not stupid. Then he is doing this thing because it is only La Republic who can do this thing, and this is a very big trap. I want to say that if there is any member of the interim government of Ambazonia who have shared that thing on their public space, Facebook, Twitter, pull it down immediately. Pull it down, because you are discrediting us. You cannot go and be propagating a lie against the enemy so openly. I mean, if you want to do propaganda, more you do propaganda where you look good and intelligent. Not go do foolish propaganda where you go look and so be fools them. You disgraceful. You will make an La Republic will go now. You will go take a kind of thing. So see, La Republic is not foolish. And if it's still been a La Republic, look, I will start to learn something from me, Mr. Nacho. More be honest. When some person send you something, more assume that some person just send them for you. It just emotionally take the thing, go out, they go publish them. Listen, Epom, when they send you something, when you get something like this, make sure say you scrutinize them. Be careful. I know, say me as an activist, sometimes people will send to me things. People send things to me. People send images and things, videos, but I make sure I scrutinize the contents. Because when you go out there and you are talking in the name of Ambazonia, you represent Ambazonia. And if you are lying and the international community discovers that you are trying to lie, you are framing up facts, they will think that that's your nature. And they will never trust your words. And La Republic will take that as an upper hand over us. So I see all of you. I made a post this morning. Some of you are saying, Mr. Nacho, just be quiet about it. To be quiet, listen, we are fighting a just cause. We are a truthful people. We must maintain our national integrity. I, Mr. Nacho, am a man of integrity. I will stand to defend this Ambazonian war of liberation with integrity and truth. I will not go and lie to the international community that, no, but I will tell them the truth because we hold the truth. We have nothing to hide. Brothers and sisters, we don't need to manipulate anything. So it could even be it is La Republic's agent. Listen, if it be somebody from La Republic must have sent this thing to Eric himself. If he wants to claim that he's not working with La Republic, let's assume Eric Tato is not working with La Republic. Let's assume he's on his same mind. Let's assume he's an activist for Ambazonia. But somebody from La Republic can even give him this thing for him to come and use and talk. Just for them to use it later to discredit us. So he needs to learn a lot. Activism is not to come and shout on social media. You must be able to be intelligently active. When you are presenting a fact, let it be intelligently backed, let it be factual based. You know, when you are presenting a story, you don't just go to the international community and talk and say, oh no, this thing is so dangerous. And to some of you, you've been supporting, listen, the Francophones can go out there and make that thing. I've proven to you and I've showed you at least 5 points that chat is not from the SDO. That chat is not from the SDO. Quote me anywhere and I'll prove it. It's not from the SDO. Now, I just showed you another chat that is apparently from Mr. Eric Tato. Let me put it on the screen. That's it. Apparently, this is a chat where, because that's Eric's number. You see, apparently this is a chat where Eric Tato was chatting with somebody that he's going to frame up a WhatsApp message to discredit the SDO. Now, let me say something here, Ambazonians. We are mature people. The international community must know we are intelligent people. La Republic must know that in Ambazonia, we have intellect. We are intelligent people. We are not fools. Only a fool is going to take that thing that is coming from Eric Tato to use it out there. Don't share it. It's wrong. In as much as I hate La Republic, I want to fight them with justice because that's what will triumph. Justice and truth will triumph, not lies. Number 2, you saw the text I just put on the screen. Let me put it again. Apparently, because that's Eric Tato's number, right? That's his number. Okay. I'm not going to be an advocate for Eric Tato, but let me play the devil's advocate. Let's assume this is not a text from Eric Tato because he might come up and say, oh, this is his telephone number, but he's not the one who did it. But you see the vulnerability. You see now that he can go out there and is blaming the SDO that, oh, It was the SDO who chatted and commanded that they should kill our brothers. And the SDO comes up with this because this is Eric Tato's number. Ambazonians, look at it. This is Eric Tato's number. This is also a chart that is showing us that Eric Tato communicated with somebody to frame up the SDO. So what do you believe? What do you believe? On the left, you get a chart where it shows Eric Tato be chatting on some person to frame up the SDO. On the right, you have a chart from the SDO that is showing it was the SDO who give a command to kill. So what do you believe? The truth is that Ambazonians, is high time for which you know that this revolution is not just social media talk. You see, anybody can manipulate a WhatsApp chat. Anyone. Few weeks ago, Eric Tato came up. He was showing a WhatsApp chat saying that they gave me $2,700. He was ranting on social media and speaking and saying all kinds of lies with Mark Barata. This is how gullible you become when you are filled with hatred and evil. You do things that makes no sense. And you discredit even your own self. In fact, you expose yourself more. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to go down to that level to say that Eric Tato, that this chart here that we are seeing is from Eric Tato. I'm not going to confirm that to you, but at least all of us can now see that anybody can fake up or frame up a chart from somebody. Now you see this chart where it is Eric Tato's number, it is his profile picture. This one is even more genuine than the one he brought. He tried to blackmail somebody and they even brought something that is more genuine than his own. In fact, think about it, Papa Mamiden. Eric Tato tried to go blackmail person. The person instead go bring chart with a genuine person on for instead discredit it. Now the kind of fight that we want to take about social media, if we talk about our picking them, they don't die. With the man we are picking them, we are crying the death of our children. You see, these people, they want to draw our attention away from the realities. They want to create confusion out there. And this is my problem, and I will always say it with Eric Tato. You see, this young guy has become a problem in this revolution. More put hatred, more put what differences aside. This is about, look, Papa, Mommy, them last one, picking they don't die. More poor differences. When I know very, I need the hider. When I know very well, say me and Eric Tato now, we need to mash. I will not go ever mash. But more, put my difference. I want to put my difference away. Even though I can't talk say no, this thing Eric Tato do. Now write up this. I will come and say I want nail on he. I not get any good blow thing for profit because I remember that. Now Eric Tato remember that. Now chat that way Eric Tato chat. We fit claim when I see the talk, they say we go frame up the SDO. When I see him. So, if I want to take my hatred to get them against Eric Tato, I can't say, oh, when I see what you Eric Tato do. No, I will never do that. And I don't believe that Eric Tato write it in. I don't believe that Eric Tato he write that message for frame of the SDO. In as much as I don't also believe that the SDO write that thing. So we have something that is going on wrong here. We first see say with the not quite way La République done for society, La République the punch thing. La République I'm telling you the truth. If you been a La République, they do the thing. And at the end of the day, because they want to discredit all of us. Because when they make us so, the international community look and say we are liars. We'll be discredited for the international community. There is nothing you want to say again. Trust us until once you lost the trust, it'll be difficult for Ghana. Right now, our cause is on a genuine ground. Our cause is just. Our cause is truthful. So I'm not going to take my differences with Eric Tato because we don't match because he's a La République agent to one. No. 1,000 times no. One thing I agree with him is that he accepts the truth that it is La République, and I also accept that. But he should learn to know that if you are not able to prove something, don't come out there and make claims. How many times? This is the same thing he has been doing in this revolution. He said I'm a gay. He said Dr. Sako slept with somebody. All those erroneous lies. When you bring them to the public and you cannot justify those things, and at the end of the day they discover that you're a liar, you lost credibility. If he says those kind of things about me, I will not worry. Or those the kind of small lie that they talk about me. But when it concerns a matter like this, it concerns the life of our picking them. And the internet, because this thing right now is burning at the international community. When you want to talk in the name of Ambazonia, bring in tangible facts. Bring in, no go bring some truth tomorrow. They can't laugh with. They look with so. They even think that we will do them. They go think that we will do them. I will be trying to hide something. So some of you now when I did for comment, I never even see someone when I did for comment when I did talk. See, this is not about Nanchop and Eric Tato. This is about the souls of our lost children. Over 20 of them. We'll be here right now for make sure say Okay, if you go bring other story, you can't talk now say na SDO, and then they go catch the SDO, they kill you or don't see. When the real perpetrator see they out there, what you go happen tomorrow? The perpetrator will feel confident. He will feel confident. You give it confidence. He will feel confident. Tomorrow, he will go ahead for to do the same thing. He no go stop. Because the truth is, we want the perpetrators of these acts to be called to justice, to be held accountable. So if we go out there, we'll go point finger for the wrong man, exactly what La Republic want, exactly what they want. La Republic will not deny that it is not them. They will come up with a story. They will come up that they caught some fake Amber boys. They will come up that they caught some soldiers of theirs who did it. And that's it. What happened to the guys that they caught from Gabu? Look at what happened, what they did in the north when they shot the women and children, asserting that they were Boko Haram fighters. Issa Chiruma Bakari came and refused it was not in Cameroon. It's the same thing they are refusing now that they are not the ones who did it. When the international community mounted pressure on them, they said, oh, yes, they have caught the soldiers who did it. Till date, nobody knows what has happened to those soldiers. They have left them. They are free. Because it is what La République du Cameroun is fond of doing. They are fond of killing women and children. It's the same thing they did in Gabu. They said, no, they were not the ones. They denied it. They said it was the restoration fighters. When the international community mounted pressure on them, they said they've caught the fighters, the soldiers who did that. Oh, they are dealing with them. Now the same thing is repeating itself again in Kumba. La Republic knows that they know, the world know that it is La Republic. You and I, we know that it is La Republic, but we don't want to get our hands stained by faking up stories. No, we want to stay on the side of the truth. So La Republic, knowing that they are the ones that have done this and that they are going to come after them, what La Republic would do is they will pick some boys and say, let them come and confess that they are the ones who did it. They did it in Muyoka. Or they will pick some of their soldiers and sacrifice them. Let them come and confess that they are the ones who did it. And that's the end of the story. After 1 year, they will pay those guys who will still be moving freely. You will not know. You see, who has lost? We. We are the one who've lost our children. We are losing everything and they will keep killing our people. But we must make sure that we use this opportunity by telling the truth to call on the international community to step in. The United Nations need to step in. Fellow Amazonians, this is no time for Connie talk. This is time for war. We are mourning and we are also at war. We must face the facts. I'm opening the lines now for your calls. For those of you who want to call, the telephone number is down here on the screen. You can see on the last line here on the screen. Feel free to call. Let me take some few calls. As I said, let me take some few calls. Now, please, I repeat, we must be careful. If the Francophones are going out there, the Francophone activists are sharing whatever, it's good, let them do it. But we, the people of Amazonia, we must remain just. Some person say, Mr. Nachop, I don't talk, they push and send a La Republic, all money is in a La Republic, just leave them. No. This is a big trap for us. One day you will thank me for making this show. Some of you listening to me right now, and you are saying, oh, Mr. Nachop, you for leave them, you never better talk about it. One day you will thank me for making this show. And I'm making a public disclaimer. No Amazonian is supporting that fake WhatsApp message. Of course, we stand by the truth by saying that it is La Republic who did it. We have the evidences, we have the facts on the table. We are not denying them, but we are not also saying that the chat that we saw out there is a La Republic-led chat. So please, I'm taking some telephone calls now. Let me take some calls now. I'm going to take some calls. Okay, I have the first caller on the line already. I think I have the first caller on the line. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Amber Voice.
Yes, is it Mr. Nachop?
You are talking to Mr. Nachop.
Okay, I want to say that all your analysis that you put on the screen about the fake screen for every tractor, because I was following yesterday, it was true that from your analysis, it shows that the screenshot of every tractor were lies, were fake. Can you get me?
Very correct. You are correct. You're right. Yeah.
But the other screen that you put about the Eritatos number, I'm not convinced that that was Eritato WhatsApp. Yeah, that's number, but the chat there was not Eritato. because Eric Tato is using an iPhone, but I also am using an iPhone. When you compare the chat there with an iPhone, it doesn't match up.
No, stop. Hold on.
A fake chat.
Hold on. The person who made this chat made it from his conversation with Eric Tato. So if he's not using an iPhone, it will be like this. I understand what you're saying. I too, I use an iPhone, right? I know what you're trying to say. Now, I don't want us to make this one a conversation about if it is Eric Tato or not. I've stated it clearly that this write-up that we see, and I'm going to put it on the screen again now, this write-up that is apparently saying that Eric Tato connived with somebody to frame up the SGO is also fake. Eric Tato did not do it. Let me play the devil's advocate. I know there are Amazonians that are going to kill me for saying that, but let me play the devil's advocate. It is not Eric Tato who did this. In as much as I hate him, in as much as I can use this opportunity to crucify him, but I cannot justify that now because I have not scrutinized it, and I want to say it's fake. But what do we learn from this? We learn that we cannot put our trust on such WhatsApp messages. Not just because you see a WhatsApp message that is carrying somebody's number, you should go after that person. We must be careful. Because Eric Tato has been using this as a weapon. Now, the same weapon has been used against him in a much better manner. Listen, what can you see on the screen right now that will make you think it's fake? Everything looks authentic to me. I would rather believe this than the one that Eric Tato brought up. But again, I want to say that we are not going to go that route to start making our justifications based on WhatsApp messages, because those things can be faked up. And we are more than that. Amazonians, we are more than that.
You're right.
I don't know if you have something else to say, sir.
So,
that's all right.
That's what I spotted out, and I just wanted to let you know.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, fellow Amazonians, and I want to be very fair here, and I'm going to say that please, to those of you who called and I missed the call, you can call again. I want to pick a series of calls today, a series of calls. Listen, this is Eric Tato's number. I want us to be very factual here. This is his number. You know, if it's denies, be number that. The man where they even call us, so one can give you only to say, oh, Eric Tato use iPhone, a lie. What you say over there is Eric Tato's number. Now, what makes you not to believe that this is Eric Tato who wrote this? How can you deny that this is not Eric Tato who wrote this? I mean, this is even more authentic to me because you can see the profile picture, you can see the back button, you can see the number. It's clear. They do not crop it on a white surface like what they did with the other ones. It's so clear. And this is what you will see, that there's somebody who chatted with him that made it. So if we were to go in this revolution by chat messages, we'll all be going through the wrong way. We need better things than that, brothers and sisters. I have a caller on the line. Hello, madam. Hello, sir.
Yeah, good day, Mr. Nancha.
Hey, Chief, good day.
Yeah, you're doing a very, very good job. This is smart. And I like this is when God is working with the people. I said God brought you again in this revolution. You've just replaced Eric Tato as he was in this revolution before. Because before he was doing a good job, positive man, but since he has decided to be tribalistic, and God gave you to us, and we are happy. You see, you are the smartest person in this revolution now. Haters will take that message and they are spraying that, thinking that they are killing Eric Tato, but you are killing the struggle and promoting La Republique's agenda. If we accept that is Eric Tato, that means we are already saying that they are our fighters that killed those children in Kumba and not La Republique. That is all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful contribution from our brother. Listen to me. Listen, Papa Mami them. Look here. I'm not gonna lie. And I won't talk this. I will talk again 20 times. Me and Eric Tato for this revolution, if we go for Boya, we not go shit up for one table. But I'm not going to support something a bad where some person will use them even against the Eric Tato, where they against our revolution, where they discredit we. One, now Eric Tato studying nonsense. Now he be the father of falsehood and false manipulation for the revolution. When he start pick up the gold frame up charts them, they bring them, they carry them for people. Say, oh, he said, Mr. Nacho, this take 2008 euros. When he said they see the manipulation, they now assume say he don't see the manipulation. That means he be dull for believe that kind of thing. And I don't use those kind of things. Now you go bring up chart. Now the proof say SGO command me the key person. But we don't see us. I don't prove one for it today. It was fake. Now, they don't go bring another one when I hear the right plan saying one could blackmail the SGU. What do you believe? What do you believe? Okay, now the news they out there, oh, buru, 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 all man is saying now, news, WhatsApp message don't come now, the show say, now every tato be planning to go do SGU. What do you think, what do you think? They are looking at us as though we are mad at the international community. La Republic will take this now, they put it their side, they say, you see, now WhatsApp messages. Now, it don't start being a WhatsApp message, they fight WhatsApp message. Now, a revolution that. For the use WhatsApp message, fight WhatsApp message. Bullshit. All these things are fake. Even the one where they listen to every tattoo right time, no be every tattoo right time, na fake. They put a number 2 within, so me I will talk. And the thing I say, the person will even do what he do, I'm better than he. So even though they put us in every tattoo right, no be every tattoo right, no nothing. Na fake. With the one frame me the every tattoo. But you see when you get yourself in a mess, when you be so crooked and evil. I get a call on the line. Hello, sir.
Hello, Mr. Nacho.
Hello, sir. Welcome to Amber Voice.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we thank God for that we are here today. And as we mourn our children over there in Amazonia. And as I begin, you know, the Boya bandwagon has a problem in Amazonia. Those people who graduated from Boya, they should look at themselves in their eyes and try to discredit these people that are telling people that Boya is a glorified high school. I'm done with that. Then, once a fool, always a fool. And once a manipulator is always
a manipulator.
Always be one that is manipulating.
That's true.
And once you manipulate, then you lost judgment. You lost judgment. And that is why a poem is completely lost judgment. You remember that video which you showed, and he was asking people to go to Women's Day and cut some ladies' arms so that the occupier were going to take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. He is in the picture of what happens. And you see, Ayeke's death is connected to these things that is happening in Kumba, because they disagree with Ayeke and they had to kill Ayeke because that thing of Kumba was going to leak. And that's why they even take Ayeke to Kumba. He didn't die in Kumba. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's really, when you look at it, you look at it very well and leave your mind, leave everything outside there. You see that this is what Eric Tato has been doing all the time. He learns how to manipulate because, according to him, he is convinced that people are listening to him. And that's why he asked for all conspiracies, so that they should bring it to him so he can use it to brainwash us. But the other side of it is that, why is the noise in the social media, you know, when the National Telegraph is empty? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, wonderful contributor. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful one from my beloved brother from Maryland. Now, I will repeat, fellow Amazonians, we have to be listen. In this revolution, I don't want to boast. I have chosen to be the most just and honest activist. Because I want you to believe, listen, I want you to believe me and believe everything I say. And that's a responsibility I'm carrying on my shoulder to get your trust. That's why I don't report on anything that is fake. If I tell you that Ayok is compromised, if I say something, I'm not saying it out of wickedness because I hate him. I'm saying it from the truth of my belly. If I tell you something against anybody in this revolution, I'm saying it from my pure and honest heart, because honesty and truth and justice is what we are fighting for. And I don't see any need for me to come here. Okay, I have Pastor Commando online. Hold on, sir. I don't see any need for me to come here and begin to want to use this opportunity now against those who I claim are my enemies. No. That's not a revolution. That's not what I'm fighting for. That's not why our children are dying. But we must stand on the side of justice. Let me take this caller away on the line. Hello, sir. Hello, Pastor Commando.
Hello, sir. Good morning or good evening.
Good morning to you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to me. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Yes. I just want to first of all tell you that you must be I'm very grateful. We are sorry about what is going on in our land with the killing of the children. And with that said, we are in mourning situation right now. And we are coming out to dig at the truth as usual. The first thing I want to let you know is that be very careful when people come in and say you are the King Kong of the revolution. Don't accept those praises, please. I am begging you in God's name.
That's right.
Because
I should say, Pastor, command the connection don't go off. So we don't lose. We don't might take the next caller way down the line. Yes, hello, sir.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, can I talk?
You are online. You are connected. If you talk, we'll hear you.
Thank you, sir. Now, the talk say those who kill by the sword die by the sword. Koniman die, Koniman bury him. And exactly what is happening to Eric Tato. Now, if you say that the script that is coming from Eric Tato is not from him, I want to tell you that from the guy, I've never met him in person, but I've spoken to him so many times. I want to believe strongly that that message is coming from Eric Tato. Eric Tato all along has been a manipulator. I listened to that whatever yesterday, and immediately he started talking about Cristiano and Sako. I switched off immediately. And that is what he wants. That he should be relevant, and then people will listen to him. Now, this thing has happened. Yesterday, or 2 days ago, when this thing came out, the first person who put up a message saying that La République perpetrated such actions was this guy called Michel Binton, who is a francophone blogger. He is the one, the first person who put that on social media was that Eric Tato went and copied. Now he wants to take relevance that he is the one who has made all the research or all the whatever, and then he's coming up with this. And because he wants to be relevant, he wants people to believe him, he started by discrediting our beloved president and our beloved Secretary of State for Communication. Now, Mr. Eric Tato, they say Koniman die, Koniman bury him. As you are trying to kill people, and that is how you will die as well. The relevance you are looking for, you will never get it from Ambazonians anymore. You have been vomited. How much did you raise yesterday? If you think that you can manipulate us, no, we are bigger than that. Thank you, Mr. Nanchok. Like I wrote something on the wall there. You are a very smart guy, and Eric Tato think that he can outsmart 8 million Ambazonians. No. What he failed to understand is that Ambazonians are smarter, much more smarter, and you have just demonstrated that exactly, distorting all the facts that Eric Tato put on there yesterday. Thank you, Mr. Nanchok. Eric Tato, you have failed, and you will continue to fail. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful. I think I have the next caller on the line. Now I'll take 2 more callers, then we close for today. Hello, madam. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, this is Mr. Larry.
Okay, Mr. Larry. Beaucoup Tori.
Yeah. Brother, there is something I want to say. I've been following everything concerning this revolution. Brother, there is something I want to say. Please, we are like the leaders. So I don't believe each time when we come online on Facebook, either Eric Tato is fighting with this man fighting with this man, insulting this man. Brother, this thing, the way we ourselves, the way we are fighting this thing, I don't believe. How do we expect the boys on ground to fight? And more to that, you know that we are all landed people.
So,
and
excuse me, sir.
Go to school. In fact, brother, the way we are just fighting with this thing up and down, I believe you are one of the leaders. So I just want to take this opportunity to talk to you, to talk to all the other people. We consider them like our own leaders. Let them stop this
Let them stop this thing and we look into this problem the right way. We should stop fighting our own selves, but we should stop fighting our own selves like the leaders. What are we telling the people on ground? That is just all I have to say. What are we telling the people on ground?
Hold on.
What are we telling them?
Hello, sir.
When we are like the leader and we are fighting ourselves, each time this man is throwing insult on the other person. Oh my God.
Another surrogate. Who is fighting who? We are mourning the death of our children. I'm completely in black. Mourning the death of our children. And stating that we must stay on the truth. We must hold on to the facts. And we must not allow individuals to manipulate us and manipulate the facts. Then somebody will call and say, we are fighting ourselves. Do you know the meaning of fighting yourselves? But as a matter of fact, I want to round up the show. I know that we have other shows coming up. Such a Chris is coming up at 7 p.m. Amber. And I think we have the caller, we have Pastor Commando back on the line. I hope we are going to get him this time. Hello, sir. Hello.
Morning, the best.
Hello, Pastor Commando. I'm sorry, your connection is bad, sir. So let me round up now. I want to round up by saying this. To those of you who came in late, you perhaps really want to go and rewatch this show. I started by, well, this is the part 1, and I'm bringing up the part 2. And I started by making it clear that La République is responsible for the massacre that took place in Kumba, Fiango. Secondly, and went further to give us reasons and justifications why I personally believe La République is responsible for the killing of our people. Thirdly, I exposed the manipulative chat from Eric Tato, claiming that it was from a certain SDO. Now, fellow Amazonians, we came into this fight because we are fighting a just cause. We are seeking justice, and the best way we can do that is by standing on the side of justice. So many of you will say, oh, Mr. Nacho, must you come and disprove that he was saying that against our enemy? Listen, using a wrong weapon against your enemy does not make it good. No, we've decided to fight a just fight. We've decided to be truthful. The python or the small snake you're feeding today might become a python tomorrow that will swallow you. The manipulative shame Eric Tato is trying to do is, when he goes out like that to manipulate audios and videos and WhatsApp messages, he will come and use them to deceive you to feel that he has power, he has credibility, that those things are authentic. Then he manipulates audios and videos, and you know how the human mind functions. Many people are so gullible. They are so emotionally carried. For instance, what was your first reaction when you saw the chat, when Eric Tato brought the chat and said it was from the SDU? Many of you believed it until I showed you right now it was wrong. And you saw you saw the proof. If you missed the proofs I brought up a few moments ago, go and watch the show after this. Until I had to call you those things to your attention. You never knew that was fake. Until I brought it up to your attention and you say, hey, that was fake. How could I believe that? Now you saw yourself like a fool because you believed something that was wrong. You acted upon it. That is what we call brainwash and manipulation. Some people are so good at brainwashing people and manipulating them. That's exactly what Eric Tato is good at in this revolution. He is good, but one thing, he's good at manipulating people and brainwashing them. Now, can you imagine a narrative he has given out there? We know that it is La République who did it. And the international community is not foolish. If they get that chart and they get that video and they look at it, when they get it and they think, is this what the Amazonian people are really taking as evidence against the SDO? They will think we are liars. They will think we are manipulators. Simply because once a manipulator, always a manipulator. We don't want to start manipulation. Once a manipulator, always a manipulator. And that's who Eric Tato is. Many times in this revolution, he's come up manipulating people, manipulating audios, manipulating chats. He did it against me. Knowing fully well that it was a manipulated chat, how would you want me to believe when he brings up such a failed strategy or failed chat, failed attempt against someone else? Just because the person is my enemy, listen, I will not propagate that, because once we start giving that credibility and our support, simply because we claim he is using it against our enemy, people will believe, and tomorrow he will use it against you too. People will still believe him. And that's not what we are fighting for. That's not the revolution. That's not why our boys and girls are dying. We want justice. We want equitable justice for all. I want those who are responsible for the killing of those children to be held accountable. I want them to be pulled to justice. I want them to face the wrath of the people of Amazonia. But I'm not going to point out somebody else who is not the one. I'm not going to point a false finger. I'm not by any means trying to say that the Ndong Chambele, the SDO, is free. No. I have said that he is an accomplice and must be treated accordingly. But I, Mr. Nancho, because I have chosen to stand on the side of justice, we must persecute this cause with justice. Now, Eric Tato himself is being a victim of his own evil. Little did we know that we are going to have this kind of a text that is coming up to show that he planned, and that's his telephone number. All of you can take it. Now, how can Eric Tato deny this? That's his telephone number. This is a chat from Eric Tato. Amazonians, open your eyes and see. This is Eric Tato's number. You have it. This is the chat. Look at what he was writing. He was planning to go and frame up the SDO. The question is why? The same Eric Tato, in fact, I'll talk about that one tomorrow. He framed up his own attack this morning. And I'll explain that detailedly to you tomorrow. See, this guy is so choked up in a political mess with La Republic. You know, when you go and take money from the enemy and you cannot fulfill, you will get yourself so muchly messed up. The guy you saw on the video he claimed that he was attacked by Francophones. The guy is an Amazonian. His name is Nji in Maryland. The guy is an Amazonian. So how will he be pretending he's showing us an Amazonian that we know, saying that it's a La Republic person that attacked him? He's framing up an attack. Why? Something is wrong. Eric Tato is trying to hide something here. He will frame up a lie against the SDO. Even though we already know that it is La Republic who did it, he's framing up a text against him. And now he's framing up that he was attacked. Now, he wants to gain sympathy from somebody so he can get financial support. Or what? There is something behind it. You don't want to miss my show tomorrow because I'm going to tell you exactly what is happening. Fellow Amazonians, fans and friends of Mr. Nanchop, I want to call it a day. Now, the 600 of you watching me right now, I want each and every one of you to click on your share button. I want us to have at least 600 shares. Click on your share button and share it. Brothers and sisters, this is not a statement of pride. No, I'm not saying this because I'm proud, but I want to tell you something. God has blessed us, Amazonia, with great brains. Amazonians are intelligent people, they are just people, they are righteous people, and they are fighting for a just cause. They are not going to compromise that for anything. And whosoever is killing our children, women, and fathers and brothers, thinking that he or she will go free. No, not in 20 or 30 years' time. The spirit of Amazonia will hunt you down. Yes, all these enablers with their manipulative schemes and strategies, let them know one thing. We, the people of Amazonia, we will not give up. We will hunt you down. Just like Sir Chris said yesterday, we shall hunt every one of them down. Time will tell. Click on your share button. Let somebody get this message. Many of you have shared that WhatsApp message. You've shared that fake thing. I want to beg you. I don't care how many Amazonians share that, but I don't want any activists, anybody from the interim government to share that. You can never trust anything from Eric Tato. He is not a trustworthy source. Even if Eric Tato will bring something in front of me, I can never. He has lost my trust as Mr. Nanchop. I can never you trust anything from Eric Tato. Many of you went and you were sharing this thing, but see how gullible you've made yourself. See how disgraceful you've made yourself. All the members of the interim government who shared that thing, pull it down immediately. It's a command. Pull it down. You cannot disgrace our interim government. You cannot disgrace our holy institution. Because that's not fact enough. You cannot, you cannot play and dance the tune of La République du Cameroun. That's exactly what they want. And they are behind this. We will not fall for that cheap propaganda. We Amazonians are more than that. We are more excellent. We are more intelligent than that. And we will stand by the truth. Thank you for being my guest today. Fellow Amazonians, hope to see you tomorrow. I wish you a nice evening. And again, I've been your host on this special edition of Amber Voice with Mr. Nanchop. Cheers.
Sense What have we done? Hele, hele. What have we done? Hele, mama. What have we done? Hele, hele. What have we done? Ele mama, sono sei tu, sono sei tu, sono sei tu.
Justice for Gabon. It's not fair that they're killing children like me. It's not fair that they're killing women with babies in their bellies.
Stop the war. Give us Amazonian children a future.
Justice for baby Marta. Giustizia per bebè Marta.
What have we done?
Stop the genocide in southern Cameroon.
Stop the genocides in southern Cameroon.
Stop the genocide in southern Cameroons.
Support the Swiss-led peace process.
We want justice for Southern Cameroonians.
Amazonian children deserve a